Hello everyone and welcome to first video after quite some time, and I'm gonna have some background footage as I talk. I don't quite know how I'm gonna call this video yet, but what I have planned for you today is a list of things I wish they were in Blitz, and at the end of the video, maybe if you have anything else that I forgot to add or that you want to have in the game as well, you can leave that in the description below. Please only leave constructive feedback though, as I was thinking that if this video gets enough of a response, I might just link it to Wargaming with some of the comments to maybe progress some of these things, so that we just can, you know, enhance the view or the playing experience. And I have put together a list of 11 things, I believe, that I want to talk about. We watch some great games in the background that I have taken from my Discord server. And the first thing, this is also in no particular order, but the first thing I have on my list, and probably one of the things I was asking for a long time now, is a bush rework, or in general just a Flora update, so to speak. And what I mean by that is simply to update the bushes and also the way trees work, as there's a lot of fake bushes, as I would like to call them, because they look like bushes but they don't give you the camo bonus that it should. There's a lot of bushes that exist on some maps that just don't give you any camo for whatever reason that may be. Maybe it's something in the code, I do not know. I have no clue about game development, but that is just my take. And I would also like there to be stuff introduced that is the same within the big world of tanks, stuff like being able to double bush. That is a feature that is not available in Blitz, also due to the fact that there's not a lot of bushes or not enough spots out there to use that on. But it's just a bit more of a skill added to the game to know how to use bushes well, and I would like that to be in to just enhance the skill cap a bit more of this game, and also maybe put some more bushes on some maps, because some are really dry of those. I mean, not maps like Himmelsdorf, they don't need that, but you know, just some. And I just would really like to see the bushes and their mechanics being worked on, updated, or just reworked in general. The next point is something that just was added quite new to the game, which is the module research help at the bottom of the screen in your garage, when it tells you your progress bar, how much experience you need for the next module, or the cheapest in that case. And the thing I dislike about it, it's a don't get me wrong, it's a great feature, but the ability to turn it off for certain modules would be great, as there's a lot of unnecessary modules that many people skip out on, like tracks or a stock gun that you don't go for, but because it's the cheapest one currently to you available, it will be shown. And if you just want to get the tank next, that is quite annoying to always have to keep checking, because you don't see your experience counter anymore, as that is completely gotten rid of, as it got replaced by that progress bar. So the ability to turn off the help for certain modules, if you like click on it and then it says here turn off help or the progress bar, would be great, so that you can focus on grinding other stuff. And it also ties in with my next point, as I talked about tracks, is as Wargaming has started to do for some tanks in ratings, certain secondary gun types that are chosen that aren't necessarily the top one are allowed to be used in the game, like the second one for the Borsig or stuff like that. And what I would like there to be made is the same for tracks, because a lot of people don't go for tracks, me included. And if you therefore just get excluded from rating because you don't have the tracks on your tank, is a bit harsh, especially as they usually only give like 0.1 or 0.2% to your aim time, a little bit of mobility and ground resistance, but it's not marginable. Only in some tanks it really makes a difference, like the Tier 9 Hodi, where mobility is a big factor. But for the most part, tracks don't really do all that much, so if you were to shut them off for ratings, and just in general, or make them more useful. Something about the tanks is just, it's a bit of a pointless thing as a module, so maybe just overworking the tanks in general might help out there. The next point I want to tackle pretty much ties in with what happened in the summer season, which I'm not going to rant about, but everyone knows what happened there, and that was premium spamming, or spamming premium tanks. And that pretty much got me to the conclusion that not just should you ban certain tanks from tournaments, but to have an even playing field, you should just completely get rid of premium tanks and maybe even collectors in tournaments in general, so that you just have tech 2 tanks that everyone can get, everyone can grind them, and there's no unfair advantages because you were able to pay for something. Even though that is a bit pointless, as I don't see that being the case, you know that if you watch me for a while. But it is kind of boring to just see premium tank after premium tank, some teams taking 7 of those, and then there's a team that just takes inferior tanks that are a bit of a worse version, and therefore stand no chance against other tanks they are competing against. So it's a bit of a troublesome thing, and it's not like it's a bad thing to be able to play premiums in tournaments. I get that. Maybe let them in for quick tournaments, as many people use those as credit machines and play therefore premium tanks in that mode. So just leaving premiums out of every other tournament might be a good idea. But that is just me. This is just a list. This is a personal opinion. If you agree, let me know. If you don't, let me know as well, and why. But going over the next point is once again going back to the progress bar that we now have in the game for the modules. How about something that would be for the crews instead? You know that if you go to your crew skills, it shows you your little progress bar. Like, you need this amount of battles to go to the next level, and you have a certain percent, like 40% of the next level unlocked already, and you need this and that many experience. It would be great if you were to be able to have that for crews as well. But you see, alright, I'm playing this average experience for crews, and therefore I would need 20 more games until my crew's maxed out. Something like that would be pretty neat. It's not a lot as well. It doesn't give anyone an advantage. It's just more of a quality of life thing. Same as the progress bar for modules. It wouldn't do a lot, but it would still be helpful in the end. And if we already talk about quality of life things, what I would like to have in the game as well is the top of the tree event, which is something that happens in World of Tanks once again. Originated from there. What it basically means is for 1 month there is one line that is voted by the community of a select amount of tanks that Wargaming decides. I think that's how it works. I don't know. I've never really looked into it too much. But how it generally works is the tank gets voted for, and the tank that wins will be the next top of the tree. Tier 10 will be voted for. And what that means is that tanks of that line get a discount of being bought. And you get extra crew experience, I believe, and also normal experience. I'm not too sure about that though. But it would be just a neat thing. It would make grinding a lot easier, and as it's community voted and Wargaming decides which tanks are in the poll, you would not have any bias, and you would have a good variety of tanks as well. So that would be also just a small thing that could be useful. Also would give Wargaming the ability to promote other tanks more that aren't played too often, to be grinded or just generally tried out. So that is just me. Another thing that everyone of course knows, so I'm not really going to talk about it, is Mark of Excellence or gun marks to be added to the game. Basically meaning it's a little star stripe or whatever the nation does for it on your gun barrel, showing how well you play in a certain tank. And in World of Tanks, that's from 5 to 10. I think that could be done for PC, for Blitz as well. Sadly though, Wargaming has said they don't really want to focus on that currently. At least that's the latest news that I've gotten. so it's not something on their priority list, obviously. This is just a video that what I want in the game, and there's also a lot of others that want gun marks, so just wanted to add that here before anyone in the comment section is like, where are the gun marks? So yeah, there's that. Something as well about premium tanks, as we had it a moment ago, is everyone knows rerolls, and everyone, or most of them, despise the impact that rerolls have in the game, especially when it comes to tournament seeding, etc. And something to work against it, and I also have a second point on that, is to completely make it impossible for people to buy a premium tank unless they have bought a tank of the same tier. So let's say you start a new account, you just got into the game, or you do a new account for whatever reason that is, and you get to tier 5, and then the shop opens and you can get tanks up to tier 5 to be bought once you get that tier 5 in your garage. And once you reach tier 8, you researched it, you bought it, you can buy tier 8 tanks. It would make it way better. It would also prevent people from having 10 games and 8 of those are premium tanks. So many don't like to see that. I am included in that regard. It's just, why is that the case? I know it's Wargaming's marketing and they get a lot of money from this, but it would make a lot of people happier, and it would also decrease the amount of rerolls in the current player pool by a long shot. Because people buy premiums, play them in ratings, and get a free experience that way, and credits to get new tanks. So yeah, that's one thing. And the second thing, that is a different point, but it still ties in with that, is banning ratings from new people. Because ratings is supposed to be a competitive game mode compared to the random matches, but currently that is not the case. Rating is just how many battles can you spam in one season to get as high as possible. After a certain point, sure, there is a skill cap, like maybe 5.5k, but getting to 5k is not hard. It just takes time and effort. People spam 1k battles in ratings and could be at 6k with 50%. I've seen that happen. And it's just like, why? Why is that possible? That just time goes over skill? It shouldn't be, in my opinion. So one thing to make that be the case is, or just to do the reroll thing, is make ratings obsolete and unobtainable or unplayable until you reach a certain amount of battles, like maybe 5, 7.5 or 10k games. It's just an estimate from me, or something you could be doing. But I really dislike seeing new people in ratings that don't really have too much of game knowledge yet and then decide to play that game mode. So it would make a lot of people more happy. It would also help elevate the skill level of ratings a bit more again, as you don't have these 2000 battle accounts that just are there and don't know too much yet. Not hating on anyone that is in that area, but it really is just unplayable and not that enjoyable and exciting anymore. So that's just a thing from me though. And that brings me to my second to last part. One of also just a small thing, but really annoying. It's fail tunes or platoons of tanks with different tiers. Where, something that used to be even worse back in the days now is only +1, -1. And that is fair, but it still is annoying, especially for the queue timer and for the matches you end up getting. Because usually the way that is set up, if it's some new players, one just got in the tank of the next tier, the other one is still grinding the tier below. And so you have a stock tier 9, for example, and the other person is playing a tier 8 in your team. And it's just awkward. So removing fail tunes would be a massive plus from my side. It has been done to PC as well, so even they got rid of the fail tune system. It's just unnecessary. Like, why is it still in? It should be out. And I think many would agree on that, as it's just annoying to see. And yeah, that was my second to last point. And the last point, probably one of the more important ones in my book, is matchmaking. And I know there's a lot of debate about matchmaking and how it should be changed and blah blah blah. I'm not gonna talk about it. I don't care. But the first step to improve matchmaking, in my eyes, would be to make a tank and class, or not tank, but tier and class based, like in this matchmaking. He has, for Get in the Van, he has 3 tank destroyers in his team, the enemy has 2. He has 2 tier 10s and a tier 9, the enemy has 2 tier 90. It seems a bit of an advantage to his team just from the class perspective, and therefore he has a tier 9 heavy and a tier 10 heavy, and himself in a tier 10, making 3 heavy tanks, and the enemy has 3 tier 10 heavy tanks. So there's a difference there, and that is something that should be changed to, if there's a tier 10 tank destroyed and there's a tier 10 tank destroyed in the other team, if there's a double tier 9 medium tank in one team, there's double tier 9 in the other. It should be class based so that it's always the same amount of classes in each team. That works usually quite well with just one having more in one area and therefore they lack one in the other. But it also should be part of what tier these classes are on. I know that's not gonna change a whole lot, but it would really be helpful to the matchmaker. Even if it does increase the queue time a little bit. I don't think anyone would care if it would mean that the matchmaking, at least by classes, is a bit more balanced. Because in some cases you will have it that the enemy team has 2 tier 10 heavies on Himmelsdorf, and then your team has 2 tier 9 heavies. And you just sit there and think, well, how am I gonna win this now? Because Himmelsdorf favors heavy tank and heavily armored vehicles. So something that could be done there is what I said. Have the matchmaking be class and tier based. It would really help out, and I think a lot of people would appreciate it. And that basically ends off my rant here about what I would like to have in Blitz. If you have anything else to add as well, please leave it in the comments. Please be constructive about your feedback as well, so that we can have a calm and collective discussion there with what could be added, what maybe was even pointless of me mentioning, and what would you disagree that I have on my list. And yeah, this was basically it from me for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will try to make more now, but as I started my apprenticeship, it's a bit harder, so they might come in an irregular schedule. But I'll try my best, and I hope you enjoyed this one, and see you all again next time. Bye bye.